Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Here we go. I hope. But go ahead and begin to make your way to your mat. And I'm going to do the same. All right. Oh, I love upgrades and new technologies to continually learn. It just keeps life so interesting. All right, but here we are, becoming present with ourselves, becoming present in the moment. Just beginning to settle in to your mat, to your Sukhasana, or easy seated position, finding that cross in your legs, supporting your hands on your knees, allowing those shoulders to drop down away from your ears. And I would like to begin today with a little bit of Kapalabhati, or the fire breath. So go ahead and take one hand to your belly, maybe a little bit above the belly button, kind of on your diaphragm. Let's just take a few deep breaths in and out here, just feeling your belly rise and fall. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. On this inhale, really pulling the air in. And with this exhale, really pushing it out and using your muscles to push it out, push it, keep pushing it out, empty your lungs completely. And just letting them fill back up. So in a moment here, we're going to take a deep breath together. And then you're going to push in a pump the air out. And instead of breathing back in, you're just going to allow your lungs to refill. And they'll want to, like a sponge sucking up water, they'll want to just refill. So all your energy is going to be on the exhale. And we'll take some decently slow pumps to start with. And then on the next round, we'll speed it up and just build a little heat in the body before we get going with the flow. So inhaling and beginning that pump. And exhale. And inhale, we're going to go double time. And exhale. And inhale. Removing the hand. See if you can feel that fire you built in the belly by utilizing that diaphragm between all that contracting. Probably feels a little bit warmer in your belly now. Let's go ahead and just allow your eyes to open if they were still closed. And we're going to take the left hand across, right hand behind. Nice, gentle spinal twist. Maybe you gaze out over that right shoulder, really pulling with the left hand while you drop that shoulder down away from the ear. And on an exhale, releasing to center. Inhale, over to the left, right hand comes across. Exhale, deepen. Gently pulling into that hand, dropping your right shoulder down away from your ear. And exhale, release to center. Maybe you switch the cross of the legs now. Just beginning to open up into that was probably your less natural side. Maybe feels like an awkward side. For me, it's my tighter hip side. So with that change in the cross, let's go ahead and extend out through the chest, drawing that heart forward and beginning to walk the hands out, up on the fingertips, coming into that forward fold, gently pressing back through the fingertips. That'll help ground your sits bones back into the mat. So you don't want your hips flying up. Maybe you walk forward a little bit more. Dropping those shoulders down towards the ground. Breathing into all those little spots in the shoulder blades, maybe behind the scapula. All along the spine. On your next inhale, beginning to press back up. Go ahead and take those feet out long, bouncing the knees, flexing the feet, just opening up into the hamstrings. Again, nice straight spine, drawing that chest forward, opening that heart as you begin to fold. And just walk down your legs as far as you can while keeping a nice straight spine. If you have a strap and you want to hook the balls of your feet and hold on to the strap, that is an option as well. We're going to hold this for a few breaths, giving our hamstrings a moment to open. If we spend much time sitting throughout the day, these muscles back here are ones that tighten up really easily, and they can be the source of a lot of back pain, pulling on the lower back when you're tight. On your next inhale, beginning to push up. Go ahead and make your way onto your hands and knees. And we're going to come in at the end for the deepest hips. We'll get the body warmed up first. So go ahead and draw that tailbone and crown up. Exhale, pressing back, arching the spine, cat. Inhaling through cow. Exhaling back to cat. Just a few times at the pace of your own breath. On your next exhale, come to center and let's do a lateral side bend. So squeezing those obliques, drawing that hip towards the shoulder, shoulder towards the hip, tucking that belly button up and in through center, other side. Inhale, center, exhale, side. Inhale, center, exhale, side. Just a couple more times. One more time, other side. And then bringing the big toes together, hips back, child's pose, arms come way forward, press through those fingertips, press those hips back, forehead comes to the mat. In this position, go ahead and begin rolling your armpits in towards your ears like you would in down dog. Feel that spreading across the shoulder blades. Keep pressing the hips back. And inhaling back forward. Go ahead and restack those joints. Knees under hips. Wrists under shoulders, and taking a little shoulder stretch here. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale, thread that right arm under the left and place it on the mat. Side of the head comes as well. Maybe you walk that left arm up behind you. And this may be already a pretty deep stretch for you. If it is, go ahead and just stay here, enjoying the shoulder stretch. Otherwise, if you want to take it further, you may take that left foot out behind you. And there's even option to spin all the way back. And as you're ready, begin making your way back onto your knees. And walking that left hand back in front of the face. Pressing into that left hand. Releasing the right. All the way up, counter pose, and the right hand comes back to the mat. Left arm up. Threading it under the right. Side of the head comes to the mat. And maybe you walk that arm up. Maybe you take that right foot back. And as you're ready, go ahead and bring both knees back to the mat if they're not already. Right hand comes right in front of the face as you press up, counter pose. Left arm comes all the way up before releasing it to the mat. Go ahead and spread those fingertips nice and wide. See if you can make a full starfish with your hands. Feel all 10 fingertips pressed into the mat. Feel all 4 corners of the palms pressed into the mat. Now I want you to just from here, let's make sure the knees are stacked under the hips too. So from here, just twist both hands outward without actually moving them. So as if you were trying to open a jar of pickles that just kind of doesn't want to open. So just energetically, and you'll probably notice that as you do that, your inner elbow wants to twist out and point forward. So we're going to use this dynamic tension, this isometric pulling, when we come into our down dog. So go ahead, tuck those toes under. Press those hips up and back, dropping that chest towards the mat. Bend your knees deeply. Press your hips up and away. And now twist on those pickle jars. Breathing here, relaxing through the head and neck. Sorry if I'm yelling at you, the heat came back on. And then from here, maybe you press one heel and then the other. Just for a couple more breaths. And then we're going to take a rest before we move into our flow. Inhaling forward, knees come back to the mat, big toes together. Hips back, child's pose. And then inhaling back forward onto the hands and knees. We're going to take just a couple full salutations, which I feel like I haven't done in class in a while, just to fully be expressed in the body, hips up and back. We will incorporate our hip openers into the vinyasas. So bending deeply in the knees, inhale, gaze forward. On an exhale, you're either going to step or float your feet to your hands, dropping down into a forward fold. We're going to take this first one nice and slow, spending a few breaths in each position. Continuing to open through those hamstrings, press through your heels. Maybe you bend and move towards straight. Maybe you get all the way straight. Shift those hips forward a little bit. So now all four corners of the feet are pressing into the mat. Maybe you bend and straighten. Maybe you bend one and then the other. And go ahead and tuck that belly button up and in. This means we are activating the core. You're going to bring your arms out, stopping for a moment in this airplane position. You're really tucking your core in. You're lifting from the belly, not from the lower back, all the way up, up, up. Inhale, reach for the sky, gaze up at the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, engage that core. Exhale, bending the knees, placing the hands, stepping back, high plank. Inhale at the top of the high plank. On your exhale, tucking those elbows into the sides, chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. Making your way all the way down to the mat, tops of the feet come to the mat, baby cobra. And release the baby cobra, lift those hands an inch off the ground, coming back into baby cobra. Pressing the tops of the toes into the mat as you lift the crown up, shoulders come down away from the ears, and release. Shifting your hips back, tucking those toes, pressing back. Adho Mukha Savasana, down dog. And breathing here. Big toes come together behind you. Right foot comes up. Three-legged dog. Shift that right hip back down to parallel. So your legs may not be really high because you're closing that hip in. Pressing out through the heel, bending that knee, curve, 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 draw until you can place that foot. Shimmy it forward if you need to come into a nice low lunge. Let's bend and straighten that back knee a couple of times. Double check that your front knee is not in front of the ankle. And then let's go back and forth a few times. Probably opening up through that hip flexor, maybe all the way down the front of the thigh, maybe through this hamstring here. Just getting to open up any places you've been holding on to tension. And go ahead and drop that back knee to the mat. Top of the foot comes to the mat. Right foot walks out to the outer edge of the mat. Right hand comes on the inside. Maybe you begin to roll out on the back edge of that right foot. Lizard pose. I like to sometimes hold on to my ankle and press with my elbow that knee out as I shift my hips towards the floor. So we're just moving into this hip opening. Maybe your elbow comes to the mat. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you stay up high. Maybe you're even up on a block. Yogi's choice. I like to think of your muscles like a balloon or a rubber band. So as you stretch, you don't want to stretch it so fast or so hard that it snaps. You're just kind of warming up. Don't feel you have to go into the full expression of the pose right away. Honor your body, bringing your right foot back into center, right hand comes to the outside. Let's go ahead and shift our hips back right here into half Hanumanasana. Opening through the back of that right leg. If your thigh wants to roll out, and you'll see that by your big toe won't be pointing straight up. I want you to roll that thigh in until all 5 toes are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And keep gently encouraging that knee to straighten. And inhale forward, bending into that right knee, placing the hands, tucking those back toes under, coming back up into that low lunge. From there, really press those hips up to release the right leg. Exhale back. Adho Mukha Svanasana or down dog. Inhale, left leg up, 3-legged dog. Close that hip in. It doesn't have to be super high. Square those hips off to the ground. Exhale, bending the knee. Crunching for the place. Shimmy that foot if you need to. Double checking that that knee is not coming over the ankle as we bend and straighten that back leg. Go ahead now from here, shimmy that left foot out to the outside edge of the mat. Left hand comes on the inside, back knee comes to the mat, top of the foot comes to the mat. Beginning to open that left knee out towards the left. Maybe you grab the ankle and utilize the elbow, pressing your hips down towards the mat. Maybe you're up here, maybe you're up on a block, maybe you come for a breath or two down to the elbow. If you have forgotten about your breath throughout this class, please reconnect here, taking your deep inhales and exhales through the nose. Or maybe you exhale through the mouth to sigh out some of that tension. If you came down onto your elbow, go ahead, press back up. Shimmying that left foot back in towards center, framing that foot with your hands. Back toes tuck under, pressing the hips up and back. Go ahead and release. Down dog. Wasting no more time here as we make our way into pigeon through another vinyasa. This vinyasa is going to be one breath per movement. Inhale, bending the knees, gazing forward. Exhale, stepping or floating the feet to the hands as you come down into a forward fold. Inhale, strong core, all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms up, gaze up, mini back bend. Exhale, reverse swan dive, back to forward fold. Inhale, into your flat back, strong core. Exhale, place hands, step back. High plank. Inhale at the top here. Exhale, drop down. Full plank or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, baby cobra. Please use the muscles here, not just your hands. Exhale, back muscles, I should say, to Adho Mukha Savasana. And right into our pigeon. Go ahead and inhale that right leg up. Exhale, placing it through to the mat. Top of the left foot comes to the mat. Maybe you grab your pillow or block here to support under that right thigh. Take that peek back. Is your left foot tracking straight behind you? If it is, and if it's available to you, maybe you make your way down onto your elbows. With all that done, we can go ahead and take a deep sigh of relief here as we enjoy a few breaths in this beautiful hip opener. If you came down onto your elbows, go ahead, press back up to those palms. Tucking those back toes under, pressing those hips up, release that right leg from your Adho Mukha Savasana or down dog. Let's just take a quick walk out, bending one knee, then the other. Shaking those hips out. Maybe you drop one hip and then the other. And now coming back to center, pressing those heels back. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, bringing it through. As the top of the right foot comes to the mat, peek behind you. See that it's tracking straight. Maybe you take that blocker pillow now, and it's gonna fill the gap between the hip, the left hip, and the ground. Once you find all that alignment, go ahead and begin to potentially walk down onto your elbows. If that's not available to you today and your wrists are ever getting tired, making fists is another way to stay up and kind of take some pressure off the wrists. Relaxing through the face and jaw for the last breath or two here if you found yourself holding on to any tension. And if you were holding your breath, go ahead and connect with that nice, deep breathing once again. Our breath is one of the big ways we move toxins through and out of our body. It is also a way that we can moderate our stress, moderate our emotional responses. There's just so many benefits to remaining present with your breath, to breathing deeply. One more big inhale in here, exhale out through the mouth. And walking back up onto those palms if you came down, tucking those back toes under. Go ahead, shift those hips up and back, releasing into our final down dog of the day. One more walk out. And bringing the knees to the mat, hips back, child's pose. On your next inhale, coming forward onto the hands and knees and making your way all the way onto your back. If you have your strap or a belt, go ahead and grab it now. I seem to have misplaced my strap at some point early on in this trip. But I'm going to use this pair of yoga pants. You can also do these stretches without it, kind of just holding behind the thighs. So I'll show you. Go ahead and take that right foot up off the mat. And if you have the strap, hooking the ball of your foot and pressing the sole of the foot up towards the sky. If you really can't get it straight, maybe you take it at a steeper angle, flexing that foot, bringing your leg nice and straight. From there, begin to pull up until you really feel that nice deep stretch at the back of the leg. If you don't have a strap, you can just interlace your fingers, hold behind the thigh, keep pressing up through the heel. Relax through the shoulders and arms if you're holding your strap. Go ahead and transfer both straps into that right hand. Open that right leg out towards the right. Left hand comes into the left hip crease, encouraging that left hip to remain planted on the mat. Maybe you lengthen that left leg out. Keep pressing through the heel. Keep drawing your toes up towards your nose. And inhale, up through center. Both straps go into the left hand now. Beginning to drop that right leg over to the left. Keep pressing through the heel. Again, drawing those toes up towards the nose. Probably feel a pretty deep stretch pretty quickly, somewhere here through the IT band, where the thigh connects to the knee. So somewhere between the back of the hip here and the connection here. If you're not really feeling it there, see if you can move it around a little bit. See if you can find that IT band. And inhale up to center, bending the knee to release the leg all the way to the mat. Taking a breath or two here. Focus on, bring your awareness, your attention to both hips. How are they resting against the mat? Does one feel like it makes more contact than the other? See if you can notice any subtle differences. From there, bring the soles of both feet back to the mat. Left foot comes up, hook or grab behind the thigh. Pressing the sole of the foot up. Again, finding that sweet spot to get that straight leg. Maybe it's angled forward. Once you find it, pull into it just a little bit. Again, thinking of the rubber band or the balloon. We're slowly working on elongating and stretching out these muscles. So just bringing it to the edge of what is a little bit uncomfortable. Finding that slightly uncomfortable edge and playing there. As both straps come into the left hand, opening that leg out to the left. Again, pressing through the heels, toes back towards the nose. Maybe you bring that right leg out long now. Right hand in the hip crease, right hip stays planted. Couple more breaths here into the inner thigh, through the groin. And up through center. Both straps in the right. Moving that left leg over towards the right, pressing out through the heels. Heel. Well, both heels. Toes back towards nose. Find that IT band. I found mine really quickly. You probably found yours really quickly too, but play around if you didn't. You should feel that whole little strip of muscle that connects in right behind the knee, comes all the way down the thigh and connects into the back of the hip. It's pretty much right behind where my white stripe is. As you're ready, go ahead and inhale that back up to center. Release that strap. Nice work. Both legs come down. See if you can find even pressure between each hip, between both hips. And we'll go ahead and take our closing twist before we take just a breath or two in Shavasana. Yeah, but let's go ahead and take egg first. So draw both knees in towards the chest. And as you draw them in, press your hips back to the mat, pressing that tailbone down. Go ahead and release the legs. Yoga toe hold, point your middle finger, wrap around your big toes. Soles of the feet, press up towards the sky, drawing those knees back towards your armpits. Still pressing that tailbone towards the mat. Maybe rock a little from side to side, happy baby. Hopefully you're smiling while you're doing this. And release. Spinal twist, left foot, left ankle over right knee, both knees drop to the right. Opening through that left shoulder, either arm out long or in cactus pose. Gaze out over that left shoulder. Maybe you use the right hand to draw that left knee closer to the floor. This will deepen the twist, deepen the stretch in the lower spine. Next inhale, up through center, switching across, both knees drop to the left, open up towards the right, maybe hand out, maybe cactus arm. And drawing that right knee down with the left hand, getting one last delicious deep stretch. The lower spine, back of the hips. On your next inhale, back up through center. Go ahead and draw those legs out long. Arms come out to the side, and we just recenter, recalibrate with a breath or two here in Shavasana. Allowing that practice to settle into our bodies. Allowing your mind to become a little quieter. As you bring your awareness to the breath, you drop a little deeper. And as you drop a little bit deeper, take the seat behind the voice in your head. Take the seat behind it. Just watch the thoughts as they stream through your consciousness. Just observing them. Don't attach to them. Maybe your grocery list pops up, but don't attach to it. Just let it keep floating by and let the next thought arise and float by and arise and float by. And maybe for a moment, even if only for a moment, all thoughts drop away. And you find yourself in this expansive space beyond thought, beyond words, beyond images, beyond this human experience. Maybe you only hold it for a moment before your consciousness begins to fill back up with the words and the to-dos and all the other things. I'm just being grateful for those few moments between, the space between. The being here, the being all that you are and only what you are. Taking a deep breath in, bringing your awareness back into the fullness of your body, into every cell, into your entire central nervous system as it runs up and down your spine and branches out to your fingertips, to your toes, to your eyes, to your brain. Bringing the soles of your feet to the mat. Go ahead and roll onto a side for fetal position, taking a breath or two here. And as you begin to press up, making your way to seated, come into that nice comfortable seat. As we close out where we began, bringing the hands to heart center. Our topic this morning in the house was of miracles. And the way that you experience miracles is first to expect them, to have complete faith, complete trust that you are taken care of, that you are provided for, and that miracles are absolutely what you experience when you are in alignment with the Holy Spirit. So just calling on the Holy Spirit to fill our bodies, to fill our breath with the breath of life, in the expectation of the good and the miraculous, as children of the divine, as children of God. And just feeling into that trust, feeling into being held, feeling into being supported, and feeling into miracles, feeling into having your mind just blown by how incredibly synchronistic life can be, even beyond your wildest expectations. Thank you for joining me for class today. Namaste.